All right, Kyle, we are doing another YouTube video.
Wow, that's just it's so weird we're YouTubers now.
It's pretty cringe. Until now, we've just been secret Vimeo people.
I know.
Private link Vimeo people, and now we're just like laying it all out there, dude.
This is good, dude. We're expanding our horizons a little bit. We're branching out into a foreign world.
Yeah.
Foreign world for us, at least.
And foreign it is, indeed.
I think it's good.
Yeah, well, what have you been up to lately? Well, actually, let's just keep the skate nerdy. What have you been watching lately?
Skate video wise?
Skate video wise.
I mean, I have kind of a little system. Each day I scroll Thrasher, Pocket, and Free Skate Mag websites, and I watch, one video from each of those sites. But I've also been starting to just go back and watch old classic favorite video parts of mine. I've been doing that like a couple weekends ago. On a Friday night, I got home from playing golf, had a couple beers, and watched old skate videos for a couple hours. It was actually really fun. You ever do that?
Oh yeah. And by a couple beers, it means like 3 and up, right? We're talking like catching a buzz, getting reminiscent, wanting some inspo. Yeah, I feel that.
What I mean by that is a couple beers after the 4 beers I had on the golf course. That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, I love it, dude. I mean, YouTube makes life so easy in that way.
It does.
It's kind of hard though, like unless the algorithm's spitting certain videos at you to remember like which videos you want to watch. I don't know. It's not like you have this limited DVD collection and you can, only pick a few handfuls. Like you have to really sort of dig deep. Like, all right,
you do.
Like I'm just spinning this out there because you posted it recently, but Daniel Shimizu and That's Life, totally forgot that part was as awesome as it was.
Yeah. But like if you watch an old video part that was, that came out at a big period of time in your life, like you remember very vivid details about where you were when you first watched the video, what type of skating you were doing, and that like leads to other memories. At least for me it does. So I have fun going down little rabbit holes every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, have you figured out, like, now at this point in your life, could you comfortably say what your top 5 just favorite video parts of all time are?
I think I can.
Fast.
I think I can. I actually, one of these nights when I was watching, just watching old skate videos, I actually started to think about it though. So it did take a little bit of thought, but I think we should put our top video part list out there. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
I know you've been dreading this, dude.
I mean, it's the hardest thing in the world.
I know why it's
harder than...
You know why it's the hardest thing?
It's harder than top 5 favorite skaters. Like, favorite skaters can include all parts, and then you sort of whittle it down based on like all of their output. But if we're just talking about a single video part, it's hard, dude.
It is.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You know why you don't like it, Walker?
Why? Because
every good piece of skating that you see is your favorite video part or your favorite skater. You always, everything's your favorite. So I think this is a good exercise for you to like take a stand, make a decision, on your top 5 video parts.
Damn it.
And I'm actually excited to hear what yours are. So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. All right, just go top 5. Number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Number 5 for me. John Moda, Peter Vlad's Wonderful Horrible Life. I got really obsessed with this video, but also this video part specifically. It was just, back in the day, I wasn't a huge fan of Arizona skating. It's just kind of those big ditches. It just wasn't my thing. But when this video part came out, that everything changed, and I really enjoyed John's skating at this time. It was kind of a new way for me of seeing skateboarding. And then I loved how he skated kind of crusty Arizona spots. So that was my number 5. What about yours?
All right, off top, I'm just gonna go with, because you're going with something somewhat contemporary. I'm going to as well, and I'm gonna say Wes Kramer in the Skate Mafia Am video.
Oh, nice. What year was that?
2010, maybe.
Okay.
So maybe they're around the same time.
Okay.
But I felt like that Wes Kramer has just remained one of my all-time favorites of my generation. I mean, there's so many others, but there's something about Wes's skating that I think just was so unreal to see in a video part format. Like, he could just do everything and he did it effortlessly, and I felt like he marked the coming of a new type of skater. One that I really like want to be to this day. I want to be as like diverse and in my abilities as Wes is, with the right tasteful manuals, the right flip tricks down stair sets, like the random tranny tricks, like handrail tricks, which I still just like can't get to. But in that song, I don't know, it just felt like a new era had arrived.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well-rounded, gnarly in each version of skating that he does. And I don't know, his skating has always seemed kind of sporadic and spur of the moment. And I think that showed in that video part too. That's a good one. So that's your number 5.
Yeah. I gotta stick with it. Yep. I said it.
All right. Number 4.
What's your number 4?
You want me to start for the number 4?
Yeah.
All right. Number 4 for me, Dylan Reeder in the Gravis video. Dylan. Love this video part. I really liked Dylan's skating starting with his Transworld video part.
Yeah.
And I thought this video part just one-upped his Transworld video part and his Alien video part, which I didn't think was really possible at the time, but this one just blew those parts out of the water. Skating, style, song, soundtrack, everything. I love this video part.
I mean, I bet it lands in almost every skater's top 5,
as it
or
should.
top 10 at least,
as it should.
Yeah, there's certain tricks in that part that just will never be done as good as someone like him.
Yeah,
like the impossible over the bench.
Yep.
Even his frontside flips. I mean, it's just
even a trick like that a lot of people would think of as kind of an ugly trick, like a tail slide kickflip out to fakie.
Yeah.
The one he did in that video part was so good that even kind of tricks that some people think of as kind of ugly, like he makes them look so good.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, I had to put him on the list.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Who's your number 4?
All right, so for me, number 4, I'm gonna take it all the way back to the beginning.
Oh shit!
And I'm gonna say LeVar McBride from Trilogy. Because
which video?
Trilogy.
Yeah, I should have called that one.
2-song part.
Yep.
Yeah, you would have known that. But I was a confused little Mongo pusher, trying to understand what stances meant, and LeVar just confused the shit out of me. And I think that's why I loved it so much, is because I flip-flopped. I mean, it was one of the first videos I had. The FTC video was the first. That was the second. Couldn't figure out his stance. All the hardest tricks he was doing were switch. He pushed switch Mongo, so I assumed that was his regular stance. And then it sort of dawned on me at one point that no, those were all switch. And I love how you can kind of see his development in that part. Like he's a kid, but he's growing up. His style is changing. It's the coolest skating ever to me. And it's exactly the kind of skating I love to do, which is just like an endless stream of flat ground tricks with a ledge here and there. Like he hops on little hubbas, he hops on little rails, he does flip tricks down and over things. Like I love it.
Yeah, and it's funny you talk about the confusion of whether he was skating switch or regular. I had the same confusion with one of my other top video parts, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I feel like that's kind of what draws you in. It's like, oh shit, how is he skating regular, switch? And then you keep watching it to try to figure it out, and then you just kind of fall in love with the video part.
Exactly. Yeah.
And dude, you've been whenever we casually have conversations about favorite video parts, this one always comes up. So you've been consistent with this one.
Thank you. You're giving me some consistency credit. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, he's up there. One of my top most. I mean, because it was so influential to me. You know.
Yeah.
You can't leave those out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And the music, Jimmy Cliff. I just love it.
Yep.
All right, now we're in some serious terrain.
Top 3.
Number 3, dude.
All right, number 3 for me, Bobby Puleo, Static 2.
Nice.
Love this video part. I've always loved his style, and of course, trick selection in this video part, the spots, the cellar door thing. I had never really been exposed to at that level until I watched this video part. And then, of course, like many other skaters around this time, I was trying to find versions of the cellar door in fucking Napa Valley. You know, like I was trying my best to find any sort of, you know, ollie into a transition that I could do. I got a couple in.
Yeah. We found a couple. We found some. Those Santa Rosa banks had the right bank.
Yep.
For an ollie into, you know.
The Santa Rosa banks. I found a couple in Thailand.
Yeah.
And then the 3-stair, 5-stair in Angwin, the ollie over the 3-stair into the. I counted that one as a ollie into a bank. So I was really obsessed with this video, but especially this video part. And Bobby Puleo is one of my favorite skaters, but this is number 3 for the official list.
Good choice.
Yeah. What about you? What was your number?
I walked by I think his last trick the other day. The spot. It's like a.
Oh, don't tell me. Tell me. It's that bank to bank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is it in real life?
Impossible.
Dang.
I don't know how he did that. Yeah.
Dang. I always thought they should.
I got a line there for my sabotage part.
Oh, really?
Remember? Yeah. I just skated it like a wally, so like up the bank and then you hit the wall. It's a random spot in Harlem. It's cool.
I think I remember that, but I don't think I
what the
registered it as that spot. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's because I think his was at night. Maybe it's a good one. Next time you come out here, I'll take you on a Puleo Stars. What is it called? Puleo Spot Tour. But
that would be fun.
A star tour.
Yep, that'd be fun. Let's do it. All right, who's your number? Who's your number 3?
Number 3 is Danny Renaud in Mosaic.
Good call. That's a good one.
Was that going to be on your list?
That's an honorable mention. That was I had to go back and forth between John's part and his part for my number 5.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's a good one.
I don't think I can think of a more influential skater for me in terms of just like all around style.
Yeah.
Like the trick selection, the spot selection. I feel like that video part is how a video part should look. Or I don't know. Like there's something about it that's just perfection. There's
it's how
gnarliness.
Yep.
There's some creative stuff. It's just beautifully filmed, and the song is smooth and like fitting for his skating. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I think it's like the definition of like a perfectly curated video part.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
From the level of skating to the song choice to the different types of gnarliness, just everything blends together perfectly. Yeah, that's a really good one. All right, I'm glad you put that on your list because I felt a little bad about not putting it on my list.
Yeah.
All right, so number 2. Who do you got for number 2?
I felt like I might have been stealing.
No?
At first.
No.
'Cause we haven't really discussed these yet. All right, so for number 2, I'm going to go with PJ Ladd from Wonderful Horrible Life.
Nice.
PJ's Wonderful Horrible Life. But just because, again, like,
damn, that's your number 2. Like that's crazy. I would have never guessed that. That's a good one though.
I feel like it marks the coming, like kind of like with Wes, it marked the arrival of a new type of skating. Like someone that good, that tech, who skated like he was just cruising through the city. It just was something completely, it felt like revolutionary.
Yeah.
It totally exaggerated, like to use a word incorrectly. It just had that feeling though. Like it was like, oh my God, this is like special.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. And that video, because of that video part, kind of changed the game for at least for that period of time, right?
Yeah. And it's so cool that it was a shop video.
Yep.
You know? Shop video just making its way across the world. It's so cool.
Shop video being on the top 10 bestseller list, or I mean, it sold a bunch of copies. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So yeah, PJ number 2. What's your number 2?
Number 2. This probably will not be a surprise to you unless you thought it was going to be my number 1. Nick Jensen, Blueprint Lost and Found. Last part in the video.
I knew some Blueprint guy was going to make it in there. It's good.
Last part in the video. This is kind of my version. I like this video part for the same reasons you like Danny Renaud's part. I just think it's a very well curated video part, from the song choice, spot choice, trick selection. It kind of has everything that I enjoy in a video part. I'm kind of a sucker for a good soundtrack, and I love this song. And I remember as soon as I heard this song, I learned how to play it on the guitar.
Damn, that's new. That's extra levels of nerd points. Yeah. I like that.
Because it was just always in my head, you know, because I was watching the video and this video part so often. But yeah, dude, he's got I know you're a big switch flipper yourself, and he's got one of my favorite switch flips for his ender. Do you remember that?
I gotta rewatch it. I can't even picture it. Yeah. I feel so bad.
Rewatch it. It's a good one. It's a classic switch flip.
Okay. All right.
So.
That's
all right.
Great.
Number 1. I wonder if we have the same number 1. I doubt it, but I wonder.
I don't think we do.
Okay. All right, go for it. What's your number 1?
I'm gonna go first. Okay. So my number 1 is so hard. I had to think about like all my favorite skaters. You know, there's Mark Johnson. Couldn't really lock in apart. Mark Appleyard. Couldn't really lock in apart. Stefan Janowski. These are all like some of my favorites, but for whatever reason, like they don't have that part for me, you know? And it's random, but Artosari in Sorry.
No way.
Or maybe it's basic. I don't know. It's the one that I just can't stop thinking about.
Wow.
It's not
favorite
how I
video
skate.
Part.
I just think it's like such a feat.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing video part. I'm just surprised that was your number 1.
I think I am too, and I might regret it, but you know what? You're putting something on record right now, and I'm just going with it.
I love it. All right, make your case. Make your quick case. Why is it your number 1?
I mean, it's basic, but like back to my early influence with LeVar McBride, the way his part starts with this like mirror situation as the David Bowie song builds. Switch backside flip, a big street gap. Regular backside flip, a big street gap. Switch flip front board, something. Regular kickflip front board. Like a line with all the same shit. I don't know. I thought that was so sick. And he has this flowing natural style that just like you don't even realize he's like a tall ass dude, which is really hard, which is hard to do. I would want to say it's almost impossible. And I mean, just the whole way through, it's just hammer after hammer, and I just think it's so incredible. And it like also set a new standard for like what can be expected of a video part.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I think it's probably just the music, the relentless onslaught of tricks, his fakie flip, his switch tray down the Novato double set. There's all these like weird things that I just like will never get out of my head as long as I live.
And I also
just the memory of seeing it.
and correct me if I'm wrong, I also feel like you guys have some overlap with your tricks, you know? And probably for you, seeing him do like a switch tray flip down, something really gnarly, was extra impressive because you're like, oh, I can do that trick, but wow, that's a next level version of it.
Yeah, kinda. And it's not like, and it, yeah, I think that's true. And it's not the tricks that, I mean, obviously I probably was more encouraged or excited to do them after becoming obsessed with the part like that, you know, like, all right, I can do switch trays, but I want to do them down huge double sets now because of Arto. So I don't know. I just think Arto it's just that part, you know?
Yeah, it's a good one. I was surprised at your selection, but I can't argue with it. That's a good one. All right. Do you have any ideas what my number one is? It's more obvious.
Blueprint covered.
It's more obvious than you think.
So you're just gonna have to say it. I don't know.
Guy Mariano, Mouse.
Yep, that's another one that's kind of like.
So he's my version of like, shit, is he skating switch? Is he skating regular? Because he pushes the regular way when he skates switch.
Right.
So I was legitimately confused, but also I loved his I don't know, just that LA skating in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
That was that at its best. Yeah. So and Mouse was the first. Actually, I take that back. Mouse was the second full-length video that I owned. The Mad Circle video was the first. But
damn, okay.
Yeah, Let the Horns Blow is my first video that I ever owned. But Mouse was just like another level of skating, and he had the last part in that video. And
sick.
I just, like every other young teenager at that time, we all watched that video hundreds of times. So
yeah,
there it is. We did it.
We did it. Yeah, I think with Guy's part and Mouse, I watched it too young to really grasp the amazingness of it, and then owned it later and loved it, but it wasn't like at the perfect time for me to appreciate it or something like that. I don't know. There was like a timing thing was off with it where it was just like, I don't know, but that part is yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's something to it when you watch a highly anticipated video when it first comes out.
Yeah.
There's like an extra level of excitement. And then that was that video of that decade probably.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
All right, dude.
Well, the whole reason we're here is to hype up our guest, Shawn Hale.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really good interview. I'm excited to put it up on YouTube.
Yeah. So let's let the interview do the work. But you know, Shawn is one of our favorites. This is going to be but a snippet of the entire conversation. You can listen to the other one on our website or wherever you get your podcasts. But Shawn's the man. He's one of the most creative skaters of this generation, I want to say, or my generation, our generation. And yeah, you got this exciting venture going on with him, so it's really cool.
Yeah, we get into it more in the interview, so check it out.
Yep. And if you want a discount on Avos, which we are going to be talking about in depth, you can use discount code OLDFRIENDS at avostherapy.com at checkout.
It's Avos, Walker, not Avos.
Was I saying Avos?
No, I said it.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. I feel like every time I say it, because I've been wearing the pair you sent me around the house, and I get kind of hyped saying it. It sounds like I'm saying a nickname for avocados I never had before. Like, yo, pass me the avos. It's good. No, it's a really good. I mean, I'm really psyched on it.
Thank you.
So yeah, let's just jump into it, man. I got my pair of sliders. I was not expecting them to have just a flat option, because I've been needing some like just like solid sliders. I actually got a couple pairs last summer and they really hurt my feet, but these are good for like for both just walking around with the flats and this amazing
therapy mode.
therapy
Yeah,
idea
whenever I made them, like, you know, it took a few tries to make something that like seemed like it worked, and I knew that everybody had different height arches, like low arch, flat arch, or high arch. And since I was making it adjustable for all of them, I figured I would just make a flat one too. I mean, because it's not like you get an injury, it's not like it's going to last forever, hopefully. And I don't know, you still have a pair of slides no matter what.
Yeah. No, it's so cool. And so I also wasn't expecting there to be so many options for the levels of the, you know, I just think of it as like a tennis ball replacement, but what are you calling the ball, the half ball?
The insert, I just call it an insert, but in Mexico they call it a seed, where we make it.
That's cool.
Because the whole name it was kind of a joke. Like, it was so hard to try to figure out a name for them because it is such a weird thing and everything sounded weird. Even Avos sounds weird to me sometimes, but they look like an avocado cut in half, and it was just kind of funny. So we went with it, you know.
No, it's great. The seeds, multiple level seeds.
Yeah. Semillas.
Semillas.
Like, that's seed in Spanish.
Do most people get it when they get the slide and then they know what the name is? Do they get it?
I don't know. I can't tell. I feel like it's like an aha moment, you know, like later on they're like, oh, I fucking get it.
Like 3 weeks later after they get their slides, they're like, oh shit.
Yeah. We want to put some, you know how you can like take the insert out and it's got like a crevice, a cavity?
Yeah.
So we always wanted to put something inside of there too. I don't know what, but it would just be kind of funny. I mean, we had ideas, but whenever it came with production, things got tricky, and we just kind of wanted to make sure everything went smoothly, and then, you know, we can make changes later.
You mean you wanted to have there be like a little Easter egg in there?
Yeah. We had always planned on it. Yeah, just something silly.
That's so cool. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you can kind of think about it too, like a you know, slider version of the Muska stash pocket.
Oh yeah, dude,
like a little zipper.
Yeah, it's a stash pocket in the
you
center.
Could just make an extra little crevice for people to, you know, stash a little cash.
For sure.
Which actually, if you think about it, because I'm going to be definitely taking these on vacation. Awesome. And, you know, like when all you're wearing is your bathing suit and your sandals to the beach, you need to put a little cash somewhere.
Oh, that's true.
So funny.
Actually,
that's a good idea.
You know?
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, should I explain what exactly they are for your viewers that don't really know?
Yeah, for anyone listening who might not be able to picture what the hell we're talking about. Yeah, break it down, because it's really cool.
So they're basically some slides, you know, like sandals, shoes that you can wear to help stretch out your arch. So it's kind of like a foam roller and a shoe built in one, to make it easier for those who have to use a tennis ball or lacrosse ball or whatever to roll out their arches and make them feel better for whatever reason that their feet might be sore. So the reason why I made them is because I had to do it for an injury, and my physical therapist at the time, it wasn't Dr. Kyle Brown yet, but actually I had several physical therapists tell me to use a tennis ball to roll out my arch. To, you know, they told me multiple reasons, and so I was trying to do that for 20 minutes under each foot every day, and it was just, you know, it was a chore, it was hard. And so I thought that surely somebody would make something like a shoe that I could do it, you know, like where I didn't have to think about it so much every day. And so there wasn't anything really available that was what I wanted. So I was on a skate trip, on a birdhouse trip at the time. And so I just knew whenever I got home that I could make some. And so that's what I did. I just went home and drilled a hole in a pair of slides, and I put a tennis ball in it, and they worked. And like, they made it so much easier for me to do what I needed to do. They were just clunky. Like, it was a tennis ball sticking out of a shoe, you know? And I like making things, and I used to design skate parks, so I knew how to 3D model. And so the whole idea of trying to make something like this was just fun, you know, starting a business, didn't know how to get things manufactured. And so for me, it was just like a fun learning process, and being able to make something that I knew a lot of people were going to be able to benefit from was just like, made it a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. And what I love is just how much the potential for, really breaking through so far outside of skating, because this is something that all people of all walks of life deal with.
Yeah, that was the whole idea with it, was to be kind of, it's not like just a skateboarders thing. We actually try to make the product pretty generic, like just because we knew that probably a lot of people would be like runners and athletes and various whatever fitness enthusiasts might want them. So we wanted it to just be pretty like appealing broadly.
Love it. Can you tell everyone kind of the series of events or the story of how you got from making your own little kind of custom slide when you were doing physical therapy back in the day to the official slide that's, for sale now?
Well, I went on a skate trip, had the idea while I was having difficulties making myself stretch out my arch. And then I got home and I just started making them. So I made tennis ball one immediately. And then I knew that I wanted to keep elaborating on the ideas. So I just started 3D modeling little molds and having them printed. And then just like going on YouTube and learning how to make molds and learning how to mix different materials, like gummy materials, and just playing with that. I used to live with Mike Mo, so I was doing that in their kitchen.
Oh, damn.
And
oh, wow.
just having fun with it. And then as it went on, I knew that I should just buy a 3D printer, and just kept learning more and more about 3D printing and 3D modeling. It was fun to me, so it wasn't a big deal, but it's a lot of work.
Wait, so what would be the process for ordering a mold and get it, like you would design it and get it sent to you before you could make it yourself? Like how does that work?
Yeah, there was a website called 3D Print something. Actually, I forgot now. But I just found a website where I could upload a 3D file and I could choose the way I wanted it printed, and they would ship it to me for like 30, 40, $50. And It just took a few weeks, and then I would get it. But the thing about 3D printing molds is, dude, I made so many molds and I had so many different versions until I figured out one that actually like made the most sense.
How many do you think?
How many different molds? Probably at least like, I don't know, like 30 or so, I would guess.
Yeah.
Which is a lot, dude, because it took so much time to change it and then print it. But a lot of it would be minor changes, or like the original versions I was making, I completely changed it. So after doing all that, I knew that I would also have to patent the idea. And so I just started learning, like Googling things about patents and how they work and like patent language, and learned how to do a provisional patent. And then I knew I had to make it a unique idea. Patents are pretty tricky. And I can't say that I know I can explain it that well, but it's pretty hard to get a utility patent because there's so many ideas have been patented, and it's really a simple mechanism, but luckily we were able to get it through. So I'm stoked on that.
Well, how did you? Because isn't it, I've always heard that it's almost like website domains, like every single basic one you could ever think of is just taken. Whether or not people want to use it themselves, like people have just gobbled up any kind of concept you could think of.
Yeah.
How did you make this one original enough?
I hired a patent attorney. Brianna King actually introduced me to her friend Robert Facey in New York, and he's a intellectual property attorney, and he worked with me on it, and he helped me make sure that it fit within their parameters. But yeah, it's tricky. It's hard to explain, but there's just there's so many patents that they try to make them like as broad as possible, cover all kinds of ideas. So we had to kind of like navigate around a couple, but it worked. But so after submitting that, that's actually whenever I showed Kyle, because not that I thought that anybody would take the idea and make it, because it's so much work to do something like that, but I just hadn't gotten to that part of the process yet.
You talked about it with me right before you got going on the patent process. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I let you know.
I was gonna say you're lucky you waited, because Kyle would have swooped it.
There's no way I would have thought of something like that. But yeah, Shawn came to me and he brought one of his original Avos slides, and he kind of explained the whole idea to me and how it helped him out when he was going through plantar fasciitis. And he just was like, "Hey, what do you think? You think this is something people would, number one, wear? And number two, do you think it'd be helpful for people?" It was helpful for me, but would it be helpful for the masses? And, people come to me with ideas like that from time to time. And most of them I'm like, yeah, cool, but it's not going to work. But it was such a unique looking thing. And I tried them on, even like the tennis ball versions were like, oh, I think this could work, So I think it was pretty soon after that you went through that kind of grueling process of the patent.
Yeah, now that you say that, it was right before I submitted the provisional patent. But I had just figured everything out for that, and I was like, okay, now's the time. So you were the first person that actually had eyes on it, besides like my friends or roommates that would see me working on shit at the house. And I was so hyped and nervous to show you, because I was like, I thought that it would be really useful, but I really wanted to know what somebody like you would think about it. And so I was stoked that you liked them.
Yeah,
I was so stoked.
I love that because I dealt with that. It was actually like a plantar. I mean, I guess that's what it was, a plantar injury I had, like a bad primo and a street gap gone wrong. And I mean, this was long before Kyle was a PT. And I had been prescribed that, like after a certain healing point, they were like, just use a tennis ball, roll it out and stand on it. And like you're saying, it's hard to dedicate that time and really like distribute the weight properly, because it's painful, or it can be painful. So what you've done with these, because I've used them, is, like it's your natural body weight on top. There's not much you can do to get away from it. It's super easy when you're using the tennis ball to just stop, just like pull back and just kind of like half-ass it. So it's really cool in that way, that it's just like
easy.
Yeah, easy.
Simple. Yeah, one of the trickiest parts was for us to get the feel of the ball-shaped insert right, like the right softness. Like whenever we were talking with our factory, they're like, that's easy, no problem, we can do it however you want. But whenever it actually came down to it, after we had to buy like a bunch of molds and start messing with the materials, it was tricky. We just had to use a bunch of different materials, and then especially trying to manufacture something during COVID and trying to get different materials from suppliers, like with all the bottlenecks, is hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
But we're happy with the feel of it. It feels right to us. Just trying to like match the softness of like a tennis ball, not being too hard, and be like good for everybody,
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing, Walker, with, as you know, or as a lot of people know, like when you massage the arch of your foot, it's a pretty sensitive area. So it's tricky to and we tried on, Shawn brought me a bunch of different versions of the inserts, because you want to find just that perfect middle ground where it's not so hard that you're suffering when you're when you're massaging the ball of the arch of your foot, but it's also not so soft that it's not doing anything. You want it to be therapeutic in some sense. So like he put a lot of time and effort into finding just like the perfect, like just the right balance,
Yeah.
And what was your decision behind making, is it there's 3 options of height, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting when I put them on, I tested each one going lowest to highest, and I was like, oh, not enough. And then I settled on the highest one, but then it was kind of killing. And now I'm working with the middle one if I want to use it for a little bit.
Nice.
But 3, I mean, it's cool that you have that available, but how'd you settle on 3?
Well, I don't know. 3 is just the magic number. Well, what happened was I was making some, and I had made so many prototypes, and I let my friends try them, like Richie Valdez, my roommate, and he's got a lot lower of an arch than I do. And so I noticed that he was having a hard time with like I was trying to settle on one size, and then I realized it can't be one size because we all have our different preferences and different height arches. So I knew I had to make a few, and three just seemed right. It seemed to cover all the bases for all the people that I had try them on.
So cool. And you know, it's another really funny, I want to get into some questions about your history with 3D modeling and working with those programs, but didn't you end up
Sure.
working a little bit with Gson?
Yeah, dude, it's just random. Yeah, you guys are homies with Jisun. He's so sick.
This is like the funniest thing to me because like Kyle and I obviously go back, way back. We grew up together, and Jisan was like the first friend I made at college, and I
No
ended up
way.
living with him.
Oh, what?
Yeah, down in San Diego, and he's just been a great friend ever since. But yeah, he was the first skater I met on campus. Like, came up to me like, "Hey, you skate? What's up?" Like,
Oh, what? That's
yeah.
sick.
And he's a brilliant guy.
And then through Walker, Jisun and I became friends as well. Like I lived here before I moved out. I've been in West LA for 5 years now, but I spent a year here in 2013, and him and I would skate all the time. So he was like one of my only friends in West LA when I was here like 10 years ago, pretty much.
Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
So
Dude, he's the like missing link connecting us all. That's crazy.
love
Yeah,
it.
I met Jisun whenever I think before I showed you Kyle, and I just met him randomly because he was like selling a couch on Craigslist.
Which is just insane.
It's so random. Um, but yeah, I just like met him. I didn't end up getting the couch, but I just talked to him for a minute, and I didn't even really know he skated or anything, but he was really cool. And then I think we probably started talking about skating, and then I don't know, just he told me he designed shoes, and I was like, oh, what? And I knew I had to get some technical drawings for factories because at the time I was just trying to learn how to do everything myself. And so he offered help with that, and yeah, it was really helpful, especially at that time. It was like perfect timing. And Jisun's the man. I still talk to him. He just sent me some renders on some different like colorways or whatever. But I want like whenever you're making something, it's hard to like catch up with the idea in your head. It's like constantly changing. So I like to have like different ideas going all the time. It's fun. But he's a great dude. Like
he's a gem.
I could tell instantly that he was just like, I'm not surprised you guys are friends with him because he's like a good ass dude.
Yeah. And he's the perfect person to have in your corner with a project like this. This is like his bread and butter, right?
Yeah. No, he's been designing shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. He makes awesome designs. He does them for clay and then for HRS.
Yeah.
And then there was another project he was working on. Another one called Hours.
Yeah. But tell us about that, because I think it's super interesting that you actually had experience working with some of these types of programs when you were so young. Like you were 21, 22 designing skate parks.
Yeah, well, I'm from Joplin, Missouri, and that's where I grew up and lived, and I got married there, and I was about to have a baby, but my ex-wife had a miscarriage. But whenever all this happened, I knew that I had to get a job, and I was friends with the owner of a skate park company that was based out of Joplin, my hometown. And so I went to him and I was like, dude, I'm gonna have a kid. Like, is there any chance I could help design skate parks? And he's the homie, and he was down, and they taught me how, and trained me how to use these programs. So I was already good with like Photoshop and other random programs like that I would just mess with for fun. So it wasn't too hard to transition into that. And it was fun. I really liked the job. I still do, every once in a while I'll do like consulting and stuff for random skate park ideas, which is
nice.
Fun. Yeah, I like it.
Did any of those skate parks get built?
Yeah, a bunch of them. I've definitely been to a couple of them, but I worked on so many skate parks that I really can't remember. Like Frogtown is a park that they built because they do like prefab metal skate parks.
That's their specialty?
Yeah.
Not concrete?
That was like their bread and butter. And then they transitioned they bought out a skate park company that was a concrete company. And so they started making like prefab. They were mainly doing prefab metal and wood parks, and then they transitioned into concrete, and that's what I ended up working on. But yeah, we just did so many different projects. I had other friends that had been to some that I made, but it was kind of hard to like, it wasn't exactly a part of the program to like design the park and then go visit it, which was like super frustrating for me.
I bet.
Yeah, it was.
Especially like I don't know if how you were at that point, but I feel like right now, if you were given the opportunity to design a park, you'd be like building some weird shit that you'd
Dude.
want to skate, like
Yeah.
some shit only you'd be able to skate, probably, but also just think of, like
Yeah, I mean, even back then was making some weird stuff and or just like weird ideas, but most of it, like designing skate parks, a lot of it comes down to like what the customer wants. So they have a lot of
yeah,
requests and they shoot down a lot of random ideas or whatever. But it was
yeah.
fun just trying to appease them.
Did you ever think you'd be using those skills to build a slide 10 years later?
No way. It's so random. But I have a business partner, Jorge Hidalgo, and I lived with him.
Amazing guy, super cool guy.
Yeah, he's great. Everybody loves Jorge. But I was living with him. I've known him for like 16 years or something, a long time. And a while back, I stayed with him in San Clemente, and he was running a tequila company at the time and like designing the bottles and just everything from the ground up with his friends. And I just was like, what? I didn't realize that you could do that. And I don't know, I guess I just had always wanted to do something like that too. And so whenever I got to the point where I knew I was actually going to try to make these, of course, I contacted him, let him know to get his advice and see what he thought. And he wanted to work with me on it. And I was hyped. So we've been doing that together. It made it, because I was doing it all alone at first and not really know what I was doing, and contacting like manufacturers in Korea and China and trying to get the idea across. And it was just really difficult. But since he had roots in Guadalajara, Mexico, with a bunch of different manufacturers for all kinds of different things, like it just made it easy to go down there and talk to his contacts and find somebody that was down and understood the idea.
And you guys are in the trenches in Mexico for a lot of the process, right?
Yeah, it's so hard to get something made right. Yeah. It's so tricky. Like I probably went down there eight to 10 different trips, because just every step along the way, from making molds to making the actual product, there would just be like hangups, especially during COVID time, because we started going down there right before COVID and met factories that and started working on it. But as soon as we really took off with the manufacturing process, it was right before COVID. So it got shut down. And then, yeah, just there would always just be like something off. And to really get it fixed right, because a little bit of a language barrier, and also they're like consumed with their own orders and whatever they're making, they are busy all the time. So we would just have to fly down there and be like, look, we just need it this way, and then it would get done. So it took a bunch.
And also you're making something that's literally never been made before. So they're probably like, what? Like,
yeah,
like it's a whole new world for everyone,
Yeah.
Were they ever just like, yo, just, you don't really need to do that. Just make the slider. You don't
What's this dome in the middle of the slider?
I mean, since I had a prototype that you could try on and it looked like almost like a real product, it was pretty easy for them to be on board with it. But like being there in person, whenever I was contacting the companies in China and Korea and wherever else, it was really hard to get the idea across. I don't know. I don't know if I could have really done it like that. It would have been a lot more difficult. But one of the factory owners, while we were making it, they did approach us to make a different shoe. They wanted me and Jorge to make leather shoes for their factory, because that's what they specialized in.
Damn.
Yeah, it was cool, but we just couldn't take on, we already had our hands
full. Projects.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool to get approached for that.
So you started by making your just own like crazy tennis ball version of the slide. Then the idea came. You came up with the idea, got it patented, and then as of recently, they've come to market right within the past couple of months.
Yeah, really just within the past month.
What's the response been?
It's been great. I'm so stoked to hear people let me know how much they like them. Like I'm not saying like it's hard to make something perfect for everybody, especially like sports equipment. Like I have so much different random sports equipment like back massagers or foam rollers or whatever. And I get them and sometimes don't use them, but it's nice to have it. So I knew a lot of people could be like that with this too. But one of my friends, my friend Joey, he's from Las Vegas. He said his dad saw it. I'm not sure. I think he saw that I posted on my story about it, and he showed his dad because his dad has a problem always complaining about his feet hurting really bad. So he got him, and he was just telling me last night that his dad like loves them and wears them all the time, and he's like already talking about buying another pair if they ever wear out. And like we spent a lot of time trying to make them as high quality as possible, so we haven't gotten to the point of them like wearing out, but it was pretty cool to hear somebody say that. And then
that's really cool.
Like Jaws is a part of our brand. He helped Jaws and Clive Dixon, they helped us get off the ground a little bit. And so Jaws is very used to using a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball like every night. He is very good at like doing body maintenance on his feet. So
why would Jaws have any problem with his feet?
Dude, he put some miles on those guys.
I can only
his feet have been through the ringer.
That's insane.
But I talked to him just the other day, and he said that he loves them too, that it like, it became his nightly thing to be wearing them, and he's stoked on it. So yeah, I was just trying to provide a tool for people because I needed a tool myself, and to hear how people use it is just rewarding. It's cool.
And it was sick, Walker. I brought a couple demo pairs into my clinic and had all of my skeptical PTs try them on. My PT colleagues.
No way.
And they were hyped. They're like, "Oh, damn, these look kind of weird, but I can see how these would be a thing. They're really comfortable. They feel good."
That was back whenever I gave you the first prototypes.
Yeah,
right?
now they're way better. That was like 2-3 years ago. So I'm super excited for more and more people to try these on and love them.
Thank you. Yeah,
and that's where I kind of wanted to hear like, what's your global marketing takeover plan? Or you don't have to divulge any details, but like, what is going to be your approach with really growing it and getting it out there? Like, is it going to be, am I going to start? I've been saying the word. Am I going to start getting some good like Instagram ads pretty soon? Like, are we going to be full frontal?
Well, we are figuring it out. We've had a couple meetings with some e-commerce people and just trying to reach the right audience. I don't exactly like spamming people with ads, like especially from my personal Instagram.
But it's necessary sometimes.
It is for sure. I think I don't really use Instagram that much anymore. So, but we're figuring out exactly how to do it right now, and we just have to get a little bit of a budget going for those platforms like Facebook and Google and Instagram. But we've been working on that. It's been, it's just like one thing to another, and it just takes a little bit of time. So we got all the manufacturing done in December and then waited for it to ship. And in January, we worked with our third-person logistics warehouse that we just partnered with in January. And we're really stoked on where we're shipping them out of because they have this brand, Basket Case Gallery. They make really dope clothes, and it's like they also do production. They can like make the craziest clothes for like Supreme and like Adidas fashion and all kinds of stuff. So I'm super stoked to be out of there with those guys because they just, they have a lot of experience and can make whatever. But the whole shipping side is a little bit tricky. Nothing crazy, but a bunch of different like obstacles to get over. And then of course, like getting onto social media marketing platforms. Everything just takes, a couple weeks each little process. So we're slowly getting all our ducks in a row, and then we're going to find out what it's like advertising some online and just doing whatever we have to do to make people aware that there is a solution for the chore of taking care of your feet like that. Plus we have other products in the future that I'm super stoked to make, and can't wait to tell people about those. But just basically just trying to make some of the difficulties of being a skateboarder, like, all our pains, a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah, well, it's great you went right out the gates with a third-party logistic company, because for the longest time, all of our foam rollers were just in my apartment, and it was a fucking nightmare,
dude.
and like there was this point where we get, like I'd have a fairly big order that I just knew was going to be actually physically impossible to like put in my studio back house in Venice. Like a literal garage was where we were living at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like I had to just scramble to find some company. I was like talking to Tori at Grizzly, like other people like in the skate, and different, there's a lot out there, and it's really overwhelming. But it's so nice that you're like off the ground running with that, because that is a hurdle.
Well, I had originally wanted to ship them all to my apartment in Santa Monica. I just wanted to, like, I know that is difficult and it's a headache, but I just kind of wanted to learn all of it and like experience all of it because I also lived with Mike Mo, and like I was around whenever they started Glassy and whenever they first got their product to the house and were shipping it out themselves. And I think all of it's dope, even though each part can get overwhelming like that. But so whenever we were shipping all the shoes in, like I saw the dimensions, I was like, okay,
it's not possible.
Yeah. Like my roommates are not going to be happy about all the shoes at our house. I can't fit them in my room. I got to get something. And so I was actually going to go with Mike Mo and Vince at their Glassy warehouse, but they ended up like their warehouse is packed full, and they were still down to do it. They were going to move some stuff into their garage at home, but then they had a massive order from Tori, actually from Thank You Skateboards, and they were like, dude, we can't fit it. It's impossible. So, but yeah, we're stoked with our 3PL. That's third party logistics. We're really stoked on these guys. They're just dope dudes.
That's rad. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the one question I feel like you didn't quite finish is like A to B, how long was the patent approval process?
Oh yeah. So,
because you started talking about the beginning, but what was the end? Like, when did you end up getting it?
That went through in the end of 2020, actually. I think, yeah. So I think I submitted it in like 2017 was the provisional patent, which I just wrote myself, which is tricky because I don't know, just weird writing, something like that. And then from the provisional, it gave me 1 year to submit a legit utility patent, which there's no way I could have done that myself. So on the year deadline, we submitted our utility patent. But we had been working on it for a while, but we just, I don't know, the last day available. And then after submitting that, it took another, man, maybe it was like a year and a half before they even open it. So yeah, there's such a long line. You have to wait for like a year and a half for them to open it. And then like on the first, usually from what I know, whenever you submit a utility patent, you want to try to get as much coverage as you can for whatever. And so they make it very broad claims, meaning it doesn't exactly describe it like to the T. They make it kind of loosely describe it. So it kind of covers a bunch of different things. My attorney told me that you don't get approved first try, like never. So it got denied the first round. And then so we tightened up our claims a little bit. And then the second round, actually, surprisingly, it just went through on the second round. So we were super stoked.
Wow.
I kind of thought it was going to take like 3 or 4 rounds. But yeah, and then I think I got the notice the end of 2020. I can't really remember now. It might have been the beginning of 2021. And then yeah, definitely super stoked.
Wow, I didn't realize it takes that long.
Yeah.
So crazy. I mean, that's like the thing that I've heard that is so daunting about that process that I've just like never, I don't know, like I haven't had any ideas where I'm like, because there's some people who are just always thinking of ideas they want to patent, or like, you know, like invention minded. I'm not one of those people, but I've just like heard that this is an arduous process. So congratulations for making it through.
Yeah, that's like a feat in and of itself.
Seriously, like you could have just walked away like, all right, we did that.
Yeah,
I'll do it later.
I know. Yeah, dude, I was so stoked on getting all that stuff through. I mean, as a skateboarder, I feel like we don't, I mean, I don't really care so much about how everything is. It's just kind of like a task, like I just want to get to here, and then I'm just stoked to get to there, and then I just want to get to here with something else, and then I don't know if I might sound fried. But definitely really stoked to get through all of those, because it was just difficult every part. And yeah, we have even more things to go through, and it's hard, but it's fun, and I'm stoked to do it.